If you're interested in a gripping, true story about love, courage, and resilience in the face of unimaginable odds, then today's book just might be for you. Today, I'll be reviewing Master Slave, Husband, Wife by Ilyon Woo. Welcome to Spencer Reads Everything. I'm your host, Spencer Duncan, and today we're taking a look at another one of the Pulitzer Prize finalists. It's actually one of the co-winners for the category of biography. The full title of it is Master Slave, Husband, Wife, An Epic Journey from Slavery to Freedom, and it is by Ilyon Woo. This book tells the astonishing true story of Ellen and William Craft. They are an enslaved couple in the 19th century in Georgia, so pretty deep in the South, and they risked everything to seek their freedom. So disguised as a white male planter and his enslaved servant, they escaped to the north in an elaborate and a dangerous journey that really defied the constraints of slavery as well as gender roles. Ilyon Woo brings their story to life with meticulous research and very vivid prose. She crafts a narrative that is as compelling as really any thriller. I would say what sets Master Slave, Husband, Wife apart is the way Woo weaves historical context into the narrative. Actually, to be honest with the very climactic element of the story, them making it to freedom, that happens about halfway through the book. And the reason why is because there is still so much more that Woo feels the need to help clarify what exactly is going on. Just saying that this couple escaped does not do nearly enough in telling you the complexities of everything else going on. I think that there is this misconception that you simply had slavery in the South and abolition in the North. And that's not quite true. You certainly had your slave states and you had your free states, but even then you had a very complicated culture in the North that had to be navigated. Even if they didn't strictly have slavery, they certainly did not have equality of rights in the North, and so you're going to see them engage with that. Also, as formerly enslaved individuals, they are going to quickly become people that are on the circuit tour telling their story and trying to give some information about what it was like to be an enslaved individual, as well as the process of trying to escape. However, there is going to be some tension, tension about revealing too much, because what if other people wanted to try that same method of escaping? As a matter of fact, Frederick Douglass is famous for refusing to divulge exactly how he escaped because he did not want enslavers to know how to try to prevent other people from trying to escape that way. The book even details at least briefly, the story of Henry Box Brown, who escaped from Richmond, Virginia, and was shipped in a box. And he similarly went on the circuit tour afterwards and made it very clear about how exactly he was able to escape by being shipped out of slavery. And that actually then meant that people were very aware of that process. And the book, details the story of an individual who tried to escape, but then was caught, and the box was actually opened in front of like the whole town. And the point was that there was a lot of debate about how exactly people should not only try to escape, but what their broader attitudes should be towards trying to escape, as well as trying to end slavery legislatively, and also trying to create equality in the northern states. So there was so much going on, and there's so much detail that is necessary to appreciate exactly the context of this couple when they escaped from slavery. Additionally, I suspect, although I have to really dig into the sources, I suspect that there's just not a ton of primary sources on their story specifically. I mean, really, they're the only ones that could tell this story. And so I think that's part of the reason why the actual major narrative element of them escaping from slavery is not even quite halfway through the book, because there's just not a whole lot more you could tell. But it's also worth noting that they have a lot going on in their lives after they escape. And for that reason, there is so much more to the book, and it goes on to tell you a great deal of what they faced in their life, not just in terms of segregation or other lack of equality in the North, but the fact that the South was insistent on the Runaway Slave Acts that made it so that Southerners could go to the North and could take not only people that had actually escaped from slavery, but they frequently would take people that they simply accused of having escaped from slavery and bring them back to the South. And that is all part of what she's detailing in this book. This book is, I mean, it's perfect for readers who love history, especially those that are interested in, stories of resilience and resistance during the era of slavery. And so if you enjoyed, say, Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead or The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson, you would probably enjoy this book as well, especially since this is an incredibly well-researched nonfiction book. And I think it's anyone that is interested in getting at least one detailed story of somebody that escaped from the slavery in the South. I know that it can be hard when discussing the history of America. Obviously, there's people that rather not discuss certain elements, such as the practice of slavery, but it can be hard to understand the balance between telling individuals' narratives and trying to represent a broad understanding of what people might have experienced during that time period. And so someone like this couple who managed to escape to the North, they represent a very small minority, which in some ways can be a little misleading. If you think, oh, lots of people escaped from slavery, you may think that this is, much more representative than it is. But on the flip side of that, because relatively few enslaved individuals were able to escape to the North, that also means that this is one of the few narratives that we have in any great detail. And I think that that makes it worth reading as well, and also remembering that that's the context of it, and remembering that that is one of the reasons that makes this such a potent story. So who would I say this book is for? Well, like I said, if you enjoy history, if you are someone that is willing to engage with questions of not just the past and slavery, but like I said, a particular individual narrative that may not be fully representative of everyone's experience, but certainly gives you something to reflect upon and something to consider. And if you are just more curious about what it was like to live in the antebellum South, I think that this would be a great representation of that. And like I said, it has both this compelling story and a great deal of contextual research that is all there. And I think that all of those reasons make this a great read for anyone that considers themselves a real student of history. Who wouldn't I say this is for? Well, it is nonfiction, and it certainly deals with a very challenging moment in time. All of those may be reasons why you may not be interested in reading this book. I don't necessarily judge you for that. I know that it can just be really heavy sometimes. But if you have not had too much of that yet, if you have not quite met your quota for the week or the month or whatever your limitations on for reading these stories of resilience, and of course these stories of incredible odds and really painful moments, then I would certainly recommend this, because I think it does a great job in helping you to better understand the history of the United States. But I know this book's not going to be for everyone, but please let me know in the comments what you thought of this book specifically, or the other Pulitzer Prize books for biography, or just any of the Pulitzer Prize finalists or winners. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and until next time, keep those pages turning.